Okay, welcome back to Sports Weekly MN. I'm Duff, and with me is my brother and co-host Joe. Joe, how you guys doing?
We're doing well. How about you?
Doing okay. Just the insanity of pandemic parenting continues. Will went back to school this week, so that's good. Cases are dropping here, like everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. It's good that he's back in school. I have to say that. I think he learns more at home. From me, it's much more efficient, but he really prefers to be with his friends. And I think also I make him do a lot of work, and so it's easier to be at school because his teacher is nicer than me. So, yeah.
There's 20 other kids,
That's right. Yep. And, yeah, so I don't know. It's fine. We just got a lot of snow, so that's good. I thought it was only about 1 inch because that's all we had kind of like on our outdoor space. But we went to a much bigger park today. I brought Owen to a much bigger park, and it was maybe more like 4 inches. They called for 12, and you never can. They always exaggerate, right? So, yeah, maybe it's 4 inches or so in some spots. So
we had about 1.25 inches today.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had to plow it. Alyssa helped me, so that was fun. It's good to run that four-wheeler once a week at least anyway.
Who was it? I think it was Will. Will was wondering about it. I'm like, oh, you remember the four-wheeler? That's impressive because it's been about 1.5 years.
Yeah. Well, he can come ride it this summer.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'll teach him to drive it.
Oh boy. Just don't let Jamie teach him. He's smashed into the garage.
Oh yeah. Brooklyn drives it around. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we're getting ready for the big move. We've already got a big stack of boxes going. Packing up a lot of like books and things like, I don't know, candles, stuff like that you can pack 2 months ahead of time, right?
When's that date? I should be able to come down and help. I should be vaccinated by then.
April 30th. I'm less worried about the unloading. The loading process is much more worrisome. So, but yeah, we'll see. Thanks.
Is that a Monday?
I have no idea. Let's see here. April 30th. No, it's a Friday. Is that right? Yeah, April 30th. It's a Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
So anyway, but then like I don't think we'll arrive until May 1st or May 2nd. So
gotcha.
We shall see. So
all right. Well, what do we got going in the sports world?
Okay. I guess we can start off with the Timberwolves. They are as terrible as ever.
Which is good.
That's correct. That's what we should be cheering for, as sad as it is. Like, so this is the whole league. This is the standings for the entire NBA. And remember, the goal is to not be close to the bottom. The goal is to be at the bottom. And the Wolves are achieving that. So that's good.
Look who's on top, though.
Yeah.
Utah. Wow. Very nice.
I'm a little sad to see Toronto way down here. But
they lost their studs.
Yeah, exactly. It's about what you can expect when
Spurs are having a good
players
year. That's interesting.
Yep. The Bucks are good again. So, but yeah, look, the Wolves, they had another injury, right?
Well, D'Lo, I don't think he was ever healthy this year from the looks of it. He's getting his knee cleaned up basically, and he's going to be out about 6 weeks. Is what they figure.
Okay, good.
Which is pretty much the rest of the season, isn't it? I mean, there's not pretty much a ton of season left. So that's probably a good thing anyway. It looks like if Cat stays healthy, Beasley and Edwards, it looks like it's a decent threesome. They can sure put up points. They can't play any defense, but they can sure put up points.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards looks like the real deal in this offense right now. He's playing very well, getting a lot of run, getting some plays made for him. I mean, the guy is so incredibly athletic. You can't teach that. And he's only 19. So,
Right.
Maybe LaMelo Ball is the best player in this draft, but it's really early. So,
Mm-hmm.
And LaMelo Ball, I guess he would have fit this Timberwolves team, but you didn't really think that going in.
Yes.
So I could see why they went with Edwards, and obviously the guy can ball too. So
really, there's only like 10 games left in the whole season.
Yeah, very truncated.
Yeah, so that's like 2 weeks, Joe. So if he's out for 6 weeks, then that definitely is the rest of the season. So, wow, I didn't realize they're ending at March 3rd. Wow. Okay. Wow, I had no idea it was that short of a season. Yeah. So look, that's the Wolves. They are doing the correct thing that we had hoped, which, sad. I guess if you're going to tank and have a horrible season, it may as well be a short one.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just keep losing, guys. Don't lose heart. Just lose the game. Woo. Joe, you okay?
I'm dying here. Wrong pipe. Whoa.
Yeah. So look, I guess they should keep losing games, but don't lose heart. And woo.
Tears to the eyes. Wow.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy
Sorry about
moly.
that.
And yeah, I don't know. That's about all you can say about the Wolves.
Yeah, whatever.
It's fine. Hopefully they get a number 1 draft pick again. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That'd be sweet in this draft. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, a top 5 pick in this draft's great.
That's right. And I think the key is to be in the top 3, right? Because then they stay.
Heck, there's a top 10 pick in this draft. Looks good. Yeah. If they have to remember there's a draft lottery.
That's right. Yep.
So they have to get one of those top 3 picks, and then it's okay.
Yep.
Otherwise, they're going to have to swing a trade to get back into it.
Yeah, because remind me what's
State.
Golden State. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so and remind me again what trade that was part of.
That was the D'Lo trade with Wiggins.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Wiggins and a first rounder.
Mm-hmm. Except if it's a top.
It's top 3 protected, which is not much.
Right, but unless you are the worst team in the NBA, and then you're basically guaranteed to stay in the top 3.
I think it's only 40%.
Really? Oh, I thought it was higher than that.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You do have the best odds. I think the top 3 teams have the best odds of getting the number 1 overall pick at 25%.
Okay.
But yeah.
And we know the Timberwolves history with the draft lottery. There's only
I'd almost want the number 2 or number 3 pick in this draft.
Why is that?
A little less scrutiny and probably just as good a player. I mean, look at the Zion Williamson draft, right? I have no doubts that Zion Williamson's healthy. He can ball, but something told me that he wasn't going to stay healthy. I mean, I don't know. And I would have taken I wanted the number 2 pick in that draft. And John Morant has definitely been the best player in that draft.
Okay. What year was this?
18, maybe.
Okay. All right.
Just a gut feeling, nothing else.
I guess we can switch over to hockey then. So, look, the Wild have been off for quite a while, but
yeah,
they just played last night. Well, let me say, some guys put on Wild jerseys, and it was technically considered a game.
You knew they were going to lose that game.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't practiced.
The only way to win that game is for the goalie to stand on his head. So,
yeah. So look, it wasn't good. They play again tomorrow, at Anaheim. They actually have a 2-game sort of series here coming up at Anaheim. And
It'd been nice if these
I
games
expect-
had been at home, not on the road, to come back at.
yeah, that's right. Yep. But
I thought
look,
this. Yeah.
they're still not at full strength. They still have guys.
I thought they brought the
are out,
Wild
so-
back too soon here.
Mhm.
I don't like what they did. I understand what they did because there's only so many games you can make up.
Mhm.
But this wasn't fair to the Wild.
Yeah.
This it's not really, I mean, they just sacrificed that game. They're probably going to lose against Anaheim at least one of these games. They're just not up to strength. Not all their guys are back.
That's right. I think
Kind of a risk. I mean, there could still be people that have it in them and just not showing symptoms yet. They're not out of the 14 days.
Yeah, but probably they're fine though. But I don't know. Seems like a low risk now. I agree it's not zero risk, but it's probably a pretty low risk at this point. Because I think it's been over a week. It's almost been 10 days, right, since anybody new was added to the COVID list.
I don't think it's been that long, but yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's probably fine. But I mean, I have no credentials, so don't take my word for it, but just sort of, actually, I do have credentials. They're just not medical credentials. And so, yeah, look, they're coming back. There's still quite a bit of season left, like
A lot. Yeah. Goes into May.
Yeah, it says here May 8th, right? So, hopefully they come out of this, they get everybody back, everybody's healthy, and they can make up for lost time. Do the Wild do things like that? Not really, but we can always sort of dream that they will. But I think it's going to be a rough week coming up. I don't see a lot of optimism for the next, 3-4 games at least. Maybe they'll win one out of the next 4.
That one in Colorado is going to be tough.
Yep.
I don't think San Jose is a great team. Anaheim's not a great team, but it's hard to come back when you haven't played for 2 weeks and your opponents have.
That's right. And you don't even have all your guys. So,
right.
I think it's going to be tough. I don't think we should really expect anything out of them. I imagine the next probably 3 out of the next 4 games there's not going to go well. And then they'll be back at home finally. Of course, then they get the Kings again because they just always play the Kings.
Well, they always play all these teams.
Yeah.
Can't go to Canada.
That's right. Yep.
And then we're in the West, which kind of stinks for.
Yeah.
Not that I can watch hockey anyway. Stupid.
You could, Joe. There is a way to do it.
Stupid YouTube TV.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, no, it's Sinclair Media. They're the bad guys.
I know.
In this. So anyway, yeah, it's good. At least the players have stopped leaving the team. Most of them have returned. We should just not expect much for the next week.
Yep.
And
anything they get in the next week is bonus.
Pretty much. Yep. It's like practice, even though the games count. So, now there was a big race this weekend. Did you catch much of it?
I caught some of the 6 hours in between. I watched the first 15 laps or so. And then I watched like 5 or 6 laps after they started. They had a big wreck on like lap 15. Some ridiculous thing. I don't know what they were doing. They knew the rain was coming. What were they doing? Just ride around. And you knew it was going to be a big rainstorm.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy, these events. All this leading up to it, all this time they waste during the day, and then they get going and they're not 40 minutes in, and here's a big old rainstorm for 6 hours. First off, it rains in the afternoon in Florida. I don't know if you knew that. It's pretty common. So maybe make the start of the race 11 o'clock. Yeah. I know. It's a money thing.
Yeah.
It's still Sunday.
Right.
Football starts at noon.
Yeah,
Football
exactly.
starts at noon.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I've got the ending queued up here.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, yes, let's watch this because it's quite the wild ride.
And this
not as wild as last year, but a little more. Yeah.
It happens here right away. So Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
Logano goes back up. Keselowski with him.
Can you hear the audio now?
Yeah, watch right in here, guys.
Yep.
Lots
Here
of
it goes.
three.
Whoop.
Yep.
Around they go in a hard crash. Kyle Busch.
Big fireball. And this guy
Yeah.
must have hit some debris.
A lot of debris flying around. Yep.
It must have hit some debris because he blew a tire and ran into the wall. Poor guy. Look at that. His whole back end of his car is ripped off.
Yeah, I like how it's a caution flag and a checkered flag at the same time.
Yeah, so actually what happened there is when the caution flew, the race was over.
That's right.
The racers didn't know that. There's got a quarter of a mile, not even that to go. But yeah, everyone was fine. They all walked away, which is good. You knew that there was McDowell. He had an interview afterwards, and he's like, I knew that those guys are going to make a move. And I thought, well, I'll just sit back and wait and be patient, and maybe it'll come to me. Because he goes, I don't think he had the car Logano had.
Okay.
Which makes sense because he's out front, and Logano's a heck of a driver. But you feel bad for Logano. He's sitting there, he's gonna win, but he didn't have to throw the block. He knew the guy was gonna come. He didn't have to throw the block. He could have just stayed in his lane, and maybe McDowell pushes him to the win. But he threw the block, and that's what happened.
Yep. So yeah, it was a fiery sort of ending to that last half lap or so, and yeah, okay.
Kind of fun though. McDowell won his first race ever, and it's Daytona 500.
Oh, I didn't realize that's his first.
Yeah, it's his first win on the circuit.
Okay.
Yeah. First,
but
cup
it's not
race.
his first race.
His first cup race win. No, it's not his first race.
Yeah. Okay. Great. That'd be like somebody like their first PGA Tour event ever being the U.S. Open, and then they win the thing. It's like that's not probably not right.
Which it can happen because the U.S. Open you can get into as a pro.
That's right.
And not on the. You don't need you just have to qualify. Okay, you don't need a tour card to get into the U.S. Open.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense, you just have to be.
Yep.
I think you have to be a pro, but you don't have to be a.
You don't have to have
you don't have to be on the
previous
tour
tournament or something.
Right.
Like that.
You don't have to be on the tour. You just have to qualify for the event. So that is technically possible, Duff.
Right. And that's different than like the British Open, where I think you do have to be
different than the PGA.
Yep.
So I think in the PGA, it's kind of the same thing, but you have to be a PGA professional. Maybe that's the difference. Okay. We should find out. Maybe in the U.S. Open that you and I could actually try for. Like a guy off the street could walk in and win it, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which isn't true for the PGA.
Right.
You have to be a PGA professional.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Which means you have to have like made enough cuts in previous tournaments or whatever.
You can work at a golf course. Usually the golf pro at a country club.
Oh, really?
There's a golf pro.
Yeah.
And he belongs to the PGA.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They can qualify for that tournament.
I see. Okay. Interesting. I did want to say something about the Vikings. There's no real story here. Other than the Vikings. So, Kubiak, what was his name? The previous coach?
Gary
Kubiak. Yeah. I was thinking, Glenn, but yeah, Gary Kubiak retired, and he was the offensive coordinator last year. And there was some speculation about, so they need a new search and a new offensive coordinator because the Vikings every year get a new offensive coordinator. That's like a requirement, right? In the NFL.
Under Mike Zimmer.
Yeah. You can never keep the same offensive coordinator for more than 1 year. And so there was no real search. They just hired Gary Kubiak's kid, Clint, right? Clint Kubiak. So,
Clint, yeah.
And I don't know. I disagree with this. I think it's ridiculous that the NFL still operates with such nepotism. So where you hire your own kids, basically. Because this is just on the Vikings. There are now 2 coaches. Adam Zimmer, kid of Mike Zimmer, is a coach. And now Clint Kubiak took over his dad's old job as offensive coordinator. And I don't know. This just seems stupid to me. And furthermore, like, it's not like the Vikings are winning. They're not like a good team that would sort of warrants at least the benefit of the doubt in terms of hiring their coaches' kids. I don't know. I think this is ridiculous. I don't understand why there's not a rule. Like most companies have rules that you can't like hire your spouse or your kid or something. Do you understand what is it about the NFL? Because other leagues are not like this.
I don't think that's true. I think baseball is definitely like this. I think it's just an opening. Like you have a chance to be a coach if you know somebody, right? My dad is the head coach for the Vikings. Well, you're probably going to get a coaching job position somewhere if you want. Just because you grew up with coaching, you probably know it. You probably are good at football and you have an opening and maybe you're going to be the linebackers coach or whatever. I don't have a problem with that. As long as they start out on the low end and it can cut the mustard per se, do their job. Everyone deserves a chance. It maybe is unfair to those people that their dad isn't in coaching, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just have such a bad taste in my mouth after like
I don't
little
have
league where like one kid's dad was the coach, and so that kid and all of his friends got the fun positions, and then those of us who weren't friends with that kid sat on the bench. I don't know. That just like really rubs me the wrong way. Like, stop hiring your kids. Go do something. Be a doctor. I don't know. Like, do something. Be a lawyer. Whatever. Like, you don't have to be a football coach. There's like a zillion job opportunities.
I think that there's probably plenty of coaches' children that aren't football coaches. But there's probably
that's not the point.
There's probably plenty of doctors whose children end up being doctors too. I know that's true for teaching.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's different when it's a high profile position on a sports team and there's only like 30 NFL teams.
It's a bigger deal when the team, okay, so Mike Zimmer is the head coach and his son is coaching on his staff. Now I get it'd be kind of fun to have your son on your staff, but it wouldn't be as big a deal if Adam Zimmer was coaching for the Cincinnati Bengals or was coaching for the Dallas Cowboys, right?
That I don't care. That I don't care about.
That's not a big deal.
That
right?
I don't care about.
It's weird it's on your own team. But look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Andy Reid, his son Britt Reid, was on the staff, now let go because of his poor choice. But, same thing. Same thing was occurring there.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it's like an NFL-wide issue.
But it happens.
Stop hiring your own kids.
It happens in baseball too.
Not really. I mean, I know like Toby Gardenhire is a coach for the Twins, but I don't think he was a coach for the Twins when Ron Gardenhire was a coach for the Twins.
I think he played for the Twins when Ron was coaching.
Maybe, but like if I don't know, that still is different to me because it's not the same team. It's like he wasn't a major league player for his dad. He was like 8 levels below in some mind. Like,
let's just say this way that it runs in families, right? Families are big in traditions in sports.
That's fine. Like Ken Griffey Sr., Ken Griffey Jr. Sure, I love that. Like sort of dad, son. They're both ball players. Like Vladimir Guerrero. Look at the Blue Jays. They've got like 3 awesome players who are on the team whose dads were also players. That I don't have a problem with.
I don't think we're talking about players. I'm talking about the Bells. I'm talking about the Boones. These guys are coaching families, and not that they were coaching on their own team. So I think you'd be okay with it, but they were coaching for different teams. But coaching runs in those families, just like it does in football.
Sure, or like all the Mannings, Peyton Manning, whatever, right? Like
but that's players again.
And that I don't have a problem with. What I do have is a problem with is coaches hiring their own kids on their own staff. I don't see how this could like lead to good things. First of all, what if they're terrible?
Well, that's why you start them out as
right,
the tight ends coach whose really job is to bring water out to his players during the game. You start them at that position, you work them up.
Yeah, but it's still but here's the problem. So this is the reason like there are anti-nepotism rules in organizations. Like most corporations in the United States just forbid it, because the parent is some higher up and their child is on a low level. It's not about the parent and the child half the time. It's about the coworker or the actual boss of that child. Right? Like, oh, how do I correct, like, let's say they make an error, like, oh, now the boss of the child has to think twice about like how to handle the situation, because maybe if they don't make the right decision, they're going to get fired because this kid's dad is or whatever parent is some higher up. That's the reason for anti-nepotism rules. It's about the coworkers and the boss of the child. Even when that child is in like a low level position, it's fine. I just don't see what's good about it. There's 29 other NFL teams. Like, go get your own job. I don't know.
I don't know either. I think it happens all the time in business with owners.
Well, it's different when you're the owner of the company.
Right, but it's the same thing.
No, it's not. Not at all. It's completely different.
No, it's really not. When it comes to that coworker, because they're like, oh, you're the owner's kid.
Yeah,
Shoot.
so that I agree with. That's
what I'm talking about. I understand the other differences. I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm just saying I think it happens quite often, and I guess I'm just like you. I don't know why.
I don't know. Like, it doesn't matter what your field is. There's like many opportunities to find work in that field where you're not working for your parent. And actually, like, we've seen a lot of great rivalries, like, well, that's more thinking about players, like, Mannings played each other, right? And like things like that. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's stupid. Stop hiring your own kids.
I think the Grudens, maybe, they didn't really have a rivalry, but they were the brothers were coaches of opposite teams.
Right.
There wasn't a huge rivalry between them or anything, but.
Oh,
yeah,
here's another one for you, Joe. You're going to agree
close.
with me on this one. It also
I agreed with you on the last two. So.
Yeah. Okay. It also applies to broadcasters.
Yes, I know
Joe
you're talking
Buck.
about Jack and Joe Buck. I know.
Yeah.
I think Joe's improved over the years.
Well, it's hard to get worse. So, yeah.
It's true. Growing up, when he just absolutely hated the Vikings and just absolutely loved Brett Favre.
Yep.
Just puts an ill taste in your mouth. And then Aaron Rodgers, I mean, just worship the guy, why don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, what else we got to talk about this night?
All right. So, well, there's a particular team that's going to start playing games here pretty soon. At least
and they
having
hired
some
another free agent, didn't they?
Yeah. So, whoops.
Just the type of signing that we thought they would do and would probably be good. Matt Shoemaker.
Yep.
1 year, $2 million deal for the Twins, and comes in to compete with Dominic for that fifth starter role. Probably the long man. Whoever loses out will be that long man in that position, which right now looks like that'll probably be Dominic, but just because they're not paying him $2 million a year. But it really doesn't matter. This guy is going to give you innings. He's going to keep you in a game. And I think this is the type of player the Twins always will go for. Somebody who they like, can get cheap, and who has a pitch that they can improve.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it looks like that he needs to stop throwing his four-seamer and just cut it straight in the cutter, or is vice versa. I don't remember what the article was saying.
I haven't read the Twins Daily article yet, but
pretty sure the Twins will have him do that, and Shoemaker will be good. Now he does have some, I think, good numbers in his postseason career. So that's
but if you're talking a fifth starter, he's not going to be starting a postseason game. So here was my reaction to this deal. I'm like,
well,
okay, it's a good
keep
deal.
In mind, J Happ will probably get injured, so will Barrios or somebody else.
Pineda will get another.
Just remember, Dominic started a postseason game, so
yeah. Don't remind me. Look, I think he's going to help them win games in the regular season. But, maybe you'll get one or two more wins than we would have had otherwise. He adds quality depth to the rotation, which really lacked depth. Last year, didn't they use 10 different starters?
Yeah, 10 or 11.
Yeah. They only had 5 real ones, maybe
Well,
6.
That might be skewed because they had a couple openers there. So I'm not sure if they're counting those or not. But
No, I think it was like 10 actual starting pitchers, excluding the openers. So look, it was important for them to sign another starting pitcher just to eat innings for when people get hurt, because people are going to get hurt or be ineffective or whatever. So that's important. I don't think it gets them anywhere close to my goal of winning one postseason game. I don't think they improved on that.
it might help if it gets them a home field advantage.
Right, like last year.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah, but remember that's on the manager.
Yeah, well, it's the same manager this year.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully he just leaves Maeda in.
God.
Just leave Kenta Maeda in. Who, by the way, the sabermetric guys love. Which is a little surprising. Yeah. He's got like the 3rd best ERA going into this year is what they're predicting in the American League.
That's incredible.
Huh. Holy cow.
Huh. Yeah, so here it has the they listed the starting pitcher depth chart. So Meta, Barrios, Pineda, Happ. They put Shoemaker ahead of Dobnak, and then
hard to argue with that.
Thorpe. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could argue
with the
Pineda,
improved infield defense, maybe. I don't know.
I would switch Maeda and Barrios, but that's me. And then that's not based on talent. I mean, Barrios is the most talented pitcher on that staff. But.
Oh yeah, yeah. Look, so yeah, it's better than it was. They've added 2, I would say, quality starting pitchers. They didn't add the one superstar starting pitcher that I wanted them to add, but it wasn't going to happen anyway.
I think Duran might see time this year too.
Sure.
Johan, I'm not sure how you say his first name.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing he'll get called up sometime this year. Even if it's just a fill-in start.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Now, somebody texted me today that Baltimore had 0% chance of making the playoffs. Is that right? Is that really accurate? How can that be? That can't even be accurate. Now, you could argue like maybe 0.05%, 0.5%, but I'm like, it can't be 0.
Yeah, 0. That doesn't sound right. Here, look. So Fangraphs. I clicked on.
Yeah, look at that, 0. Making playoffs, 0. How is that even possible? I mean, I know they're terrible, but it can't be 0.
I feel like that's wrong. I would take the over on that. Well, first of all, you can't take the under. You can't go below 0. So
well, yeah,
they started to improve toward the end of last year.
$5 on the over. It's probably 100 to 1.
Yeah, exactly. But wait a minute. But how are they selecting postseason teams again this year? It's reverted to what it had been, right? So there are 2 wild cards.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But hey, what if the Blue Jays and the Rays get really injured? They're not going to magically produce more players, and the Red Sox, I don't think, are good enough.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, weird. They put the Red Sox above the Rays.
Yeah, so
this
I think
is
maybe
garbage. I don't know what they're thinking.
Throw Fangraphs out the window.
Yeah, I don't know. This is not so serious. But hey, look, they have the Twins at 66% chance of winning the playoffs. I would take the under on this win World Series.
The Red Sox aren't going to win 86 games, and the Twins only win 89.
Yeah, I don't know what. That's so weird.
They're really bullish on the Red Sox. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And the Royals 78 and 83. No way.
I doubt it. Tigers with 72 wins. Maybe. Okay. I don't know. Yeah.
And why is everyone so high on the Astros?
I don't know. Did they put
Verlander's out, right?
Trash cans back?
Verlander is out.
Is that right? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he had Tommy John, didn't he?
Oh, that might be.
Why are they so high on the Astros, guys?
I don't know.
The Athletics are going to win that division.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. You're right. So September, Verlander had Tommy John.
Yeah, the Athletics are going to win that division, aren't they?
I would think so.
I mean, the Astros can hit, but
yeah, certainly not the Angels.
I mean, Greinke is your ace is nothing to be proud of.
But he can't pitch every day, so
no, he's a good pitcher. I'll take him on my team, but he's also 36 years old.
So look, pitchers and catchers reported today for some teams. I think tomorrow for the Twins.
Big deal.
It's important, and let's see. Spring training reporting dates. Here we are.
I think the Twins are
February 18th. Yep.
I think the Twins are going to win a playoff game this year, Duff. I can be excited about it anyway.
Okay. I will not be sharing your delusion, but I will be sharing your enthusiasm. So look, we've got pitchers and catchers, first workout, position players, and first full workout.
Nice.
So 18th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd.
We're starting a day later than everybody else. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yep. Day late, dollar short.
Not going to make any difference.
Nope. But I'm looking forward to the season. It's going to be fun. I just can't wait to see green grass on television.
I don't know if I'll be able to see it. I better be able to see it.
And I don't know. It's just there's always something really awesome about seeing the guys with their mitts and their bats and spring training. You know, the winter won't last forever. So I feel like that's just important. And I had one other thing here for the Twins, and that is their spring training schedule. So the first spring training game won't actually be for a little while, another week and a half. And it's the Red Sox. And so the spring training schedule is a little bit different this year than in past years because they tried, for COVID reasons, they tried to like tighten the travel boxes. So the Twins will be playing the Red Sox a lot because their spring training facilities, like you can walk between them. And also the Braves are pretty close and the Orioles are really close.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far the Red Sox are from the Twins. Are they like a mile, maybe?
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's real far.
I've heard that you can walk between them. So, and
it makes sense. The Rays aren't too far away. They play in Tampa Bay.
And so, yeah, you can see the Red Sox are.
And I think the Orioles are close too. They play the Orioles. They've always played the Orioles a lot too.
That's right. Yep.
Just kind of fun.
And so, yep. And then the first game of the year will be April 1st. The actual game.
Mm-hmm. Which that's at 2:10, right? That's a Thursday.
Yep.
It's kind of exciting because next week I have spring break.
Nice. Yeah, and there's some other afternoon games that week.
And what's really nice about spring break this year is Easter's at the beginning of spring break.
Very good.
I never like at the end.
Yeah.
We always got to go, always go to the Larsons and then like, oh, this is the last thing I want to do on my last day of break. And so this year it's like,
travel.
Oh, no big deal. Got the next week off.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know, the Twins, look, they've made some quality additions to the team. They've done what they needed to do during this offseason to replace the pieces that they lost. Excuse me. And I'm particularly excited about the new shortstop, Andrelton Simmons. I think he will be a vast upgrade. I think he's easily the biggest improvement from where there was an actual like below average caliber to now significantly above average caliber. I feel like the other moves were more like direct replacements. I mean, in Cruz's case, literally you replaced Cruz with an older version of Cruz. So, for example,
probably a drop off. But
sure.
we're not sure about your left field. There's probably going to be a drop off in the first 25 games. Maybe not hitting if Luis Rise is getting most of those starts.
That's right.
Obviously not hitting, but defense for sure. But we're assuming here that Kirilloff will come up and take over that position at the end of April after his time in the minors is done.
Yep.
He'll come up past that deadline, and then he'll come up and be a starting left fielder. It wouldn't shock me if Larnack, actually takes that position. That could happen, or even Rooker, but I just don't think Rooker. I think Rooker's defense out there is going to be pretty big liability.
Yeah. Did you have any Gophers updates?
No,
they haven't looked very good, right?
Well, they look amazing at home, and they are terrible on the road. They haven't won yet on the road, but then they beat Purdue at home. So tell me about that. I don't know. They have 6 top 25 wins. They're clearly going to make the tournament, but they could have been a top 3 seed if they had just win a few games at home, or on the road.
Yep. Weird.
It's so weird. Jekyll and Hyde.
Okay, I have trivia, so I have to make up for lost time. So I have 3 trivia questions for you.
Okay.
I had one other little note, by the way.
Yep.
So I got the email from MLB.TV telling me to renew my subscription. And
you didn't.
No. Actually, it said you are auto enrolled to renew. And but yeah, since we're moving back, I decided to decline that. And you have to actively turn it off, of course, like all of these things.
That's okay.
Try to automatically bill you. Anyway,
they have to let you know.
That's right. Yes. Yep. That's right. And yeah, I don't know. So I got that. But they make you a list. So when you go to cancel, it asks you like, what reason are you canceling? And you don't have to click a button if you don't want to, but I looked through the list, and one of them said team not doing well enough. And I thought that actually that's right. I'm not renewing my subscription to the Twins because they haven't won a playoff game since 2004. So win a playoff game and I might subscribe again.
You won't subscribe again because you'll be in market, but yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Anyway, so I thought that was funny. I'm like, yeah, actually, that's literally true. They are not doing well enough. They do not win playoff games. Like, why should I bother giving the poll ads money when they don't win playoff games? And so anyway, okay. Trivia number 1. So the Twins just re-signed Andrew Albers, and probably a lot of Twins fans who've watched the team over the last 5 years remember him because he has this like crazy slow 58 mile an hour curveball that drops 18 inches or something. And so he's played professionally for the Twins and also for Seattle and also for the Blue Jays, and he's played in Japan. And so in all that time, he has come up to bat for interleague games. My question is, what's his batting average?
1,000.
Is that your guess?
That's my guess.
You were right.
So, really?
Yes. He's had, so in 2017, he was on Seattle, okay, in 2017, and they were playing interleague game against Atlanta, and he had 3 plate appearances. The first 2 he just sacrificed bunted. So
okay,
so those are
no at bat.
Those are plate appearances, but they're not at bats. And then in his 3rd plate appearance, he swung away, and he
must have got a hit.
he got a hit. He got a single. And so technically, and he got an RBI. And
nice.
So technically he's had 1 at bat and he got a hit. So yeah,
might as well stop there. Can improve on that one.
That's right. So I think he's one of the minor league invitees, and he's just a fun guy to watch because you're like, holy moly, look at that ball move, you know?
Yeah, he's a
One of these
lefty.
guys, like the pitches come down through the strike zone. Like there's so much drop to his curveball. It's like softball almost, you know?
And I think he's in his mid-30s. And he's a lefty.
He's a bit older now. I think he originally premiered with I think his first major league appearance was like in 2013 or something. So he's a bit older.
Mhm.
And so I thought that was funny. So
I don't know what you were asking me, so I'm like 1,000.
So here's the other interesting thing about Andrew Albers. This is trivia number 2. He's from Canada, actually. Now Canada has produced a lot of Major League Baseball players. Of course, the Twins, Justin Morneau, for example, we all know about. But how many Major League players who are in the Hall of Fame are Canadian?
I don't think anyone. Is
That's-
Larry Walker in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, Larry Walker's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, so 1.
Anybody else?
Players?
Yeah. Actually, just Canadians in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, well, I have no idea then. Because there's, executives and umpires and all that. 6.
There's only 2. They're both players. So you got Larry Walker.
Was Hilton?
A guy named Fergie Jenkins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
he's a pitcher.
Yeah, for the Cubs. Like quite a long time ago. He
70s,
was
maybe 60s.
Yeah, I think his
80s?
big season was 71. He just had like this crazy season. Anyway, he's an interesting story. So you could like Wikipedia him, Fergie Jenkins, and he's originally from Ontario, not so far from here actually. And he played like there's a Canadian baseball league with a whole bunch of like little teams in the towns like in Ontario, in like farming towns and so forth. And he played on one of those for a while, and the team still exists. It's in London, Ontario, which small town. It's like 100 and some thousand people, I guess, maybe 200,000 people. But yeah, they have their own like little independent league, and he played on that team. Cool. And he was elected in 1991, and he became the first Canadian player to be in the Hall of Fame. And then Larry Walker joined him in just last year, 2020. Mm-hmm. And Larry Walker's from British Columbia. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. I figured there'd be more. Wasn't like Corey Koski? He's like Canadian. I don't know. The Twins have had like a number of Canadian players. So I was kind of surprised that there weren't more in the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Now, Canada has its own baseball Hall of Fame. It's like the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. And obviously that's full of Canadians. So, okay. So here's my third trivia question. So we often see baseball players and football players with black
eye black.
Does that actually work?
What do you mean?
Does it do what it's supposed to?
Like prevent the glare?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a trick question, but I'm gonna go with yes. I think so.
So yeah. So
I don't know how you quantify that. Like, I'm sure it works for some people, or they claim it does. I mean,
yeah. So it's inconclusive, but it has been studied. Now, yeah. So the idea is that somehow it's supposed to reduce the glare from the lights from the stadium, and there's two kinds. There's like the actual kind of like ink kind, and then there's another one that's sort of like a sticker. Mm-hmm. And
those are quite common strips.
Yep.
And they're football players wear them a lot too.
Mm-hmm. So what's undoubtedly true is that it looks cool, and so a lot of players like to put it on because it like looks cool, and it's kind of like war paint or something like that. Mm-hmm. So that's undoubtedly true. And yeah. But now, so there've been a number of studies of this, but they haven't actually been very good studies. like they're just not well designed with like not good control experiments and so forth. And they aren't double blind and so on. But it was the subject of a Mythbusters myth busting. And what they found is it doesn't eliminate any glare, but it does sort of improve your ability to, it improves your contrast. So it can distinguish better between light things and dark things. And that's especially helpful for baseball players who are trying to see a very fast moving white dot on a black background. So anyway, I think it's interesting. And honestly, it doesn't seem so hard to study. Like, why hasn't somebody done this? So maybe we could do that, Joe. We can like really design a well-controlled double-blind study and get some money to test it. I feel like we should do that.
Okay.
So yeah, eye black, inconclusive whether it does anything or not. Depends on who you ask. And the other thing is like people's faces are different. Like my
their eye
eyes,
strengths, their eyes are different.
that's right. And so I feel like there's a lot of variables here that haven't been accounted for. But just like the shape of people, my eyes are like very far in my head, and so like when I look down, I can see like more here than somebody who's. I mean, you can literally see it on camera here. You can see all the shadows on my eyeballs, right? So anyway, I thought this was very interesting.
Yeah,
I figured the answer would have to be known. People have been doing this for like 100 years, but
let's bring him out on a sunny January day in Minnesota. Test the eye black. Can you see better now from the white glare?
Well,
no, now you've blinded me.
You put it on my eyeball. What are you doing?
Oh no.
But then the thing is like, what are you actually looking at, and how are you distinguishing this? I think it shouldn't even be done on people. I think it should be done with like a camera that's mounted on some sort of mold of a face. Anyway, that's just my opinion. But I thought it was interesting, and I thought for sure somebody has to know the answer to this, but nobody knows. So, anyway, okay, Joe, that's all I have.
All right. Well, you guys take care out there this week. Remember to be kind to one another, grow your own food, and John 3:16.